All right, welcome to the Hoops Rehab Show. How you doing, Eric?
Doing pretty good. How's it going over there? Fantasy football
That was a
at its
Monday night
finest.
thriller. But if you guys want to hear about our fantasy league, I will dial into that just in a little bit. But that Jalen Hurts interception at the end pretty much got me to the playoffs, guys. So I'm a happy camper.
Insane. There's always a game within the game, whether if it's gambling or fantasy football, or obviously two teams needing a W for as far as the Chargers and Eagles go. But yeah, it's kind of I would say OT thriller, but it was kind of a defensive, sloppy kind of, a lot of weird things happen kind of game, but ended up being a decent one at the end.
Totally slow type of game, but pretty good one. We're going to get into the Monday Night Football game. We're going to get in kind of the best of Sunday and kind of who's the best in the NFL right now. We're also going to get into the Lakers and LeBron game yesterday on Sunday and a preview of the game against the Spurs for the NBA Cup. But as always, everybody, I am the game injury doc, a.k.a. Evan Jeffries. On my right is Eric B. Mack. We are the host of the Hoops Rehab Show. You can find us on our YouTube page, the Hoops Rehab Show. Please hit the subscribe button if you're in the live right now. We also will be uploading the pod. So wherever you get your pod, just type in the Hoops Rehab Show. It'll be right there. Please hit that follow button on the pod and hit the auto download. If you can, rate and comment. It would be greatly appreciated. And then you can find us on Instagram at the Hoops Rehab Show as well. But Eric, are you ready to get this night cracking? We got a lot to get into.
Let's do it.
So let's just kind of recap Monday night game. I mean, I told you off air that I needed Jalen Hurts to probably have one of his worst games of his career. I don't know if there's been any worse games than this, but he had 5 turnovers. And one play had 2 turnovers. I haven't looked it up yet, but has that ever been done where you've thrown an interception, got fumbled back, and then fumbled again? I mean, I have no idea if that's ever happened in fantasy. I can't remember that ever happening. I can never remember that ever happening in an NFL game.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy enough to have an interception and then fumble it. I mean, it happens every once in a while. Like the team on offense recovers. You see that every once in a while. But for then the person on offense and then be the quarterback, be the one to recover and fumble, I'm sure it's happened before somewhere out there, but I can't recall anything as of late. And so, yeah, if you're like speaking of fantasy football, we know how big turnovers are, and you get 2 turnovers in one play really is just kind of a microcosm of just the Eagles right now and just this game. I mean, you've kind of been saying it all along. There's just something that's just not sitting right in Philadelphia.
I'm that detective in Dexter, and nothing has been right about this team, and we'll find out. So I think we found out tonight that it's kind of like, what are they really made of? I think obviously offensively, there's some sort of disconnect between the coordinator, Jalen Hurts, Sirianni, and that kind of order there. And I don't know if they're going to be able to fix it this year, because their defense is pretty legit, pretty elite. They can get stops when they need to, but I just feel they get into these clunk fest of just not being able to move the ball at times. And today they finally got the run game a little bit, Saquon, but then kind of went away from it when you got into the fourth quarter, right? So it kind of gets questionable when you get into these aspects. But what do you think about the rest of their season? I did look at their schedule. They have a pretty much a little cakewalk, because I think they played Washington.
At Buffalo is the one.
And they have at Buffalo, and then next week they played somebody else pretty easy. I forgot who it was. But 3
Giants,
out of the 4.
I think they put the Giants twice already. I'll take a look at it. Yeah, I mean, as far as Philadelphia, we've talked about it. It's kind of a reminder of reminiscent of 2 years ago when I think they started off 10-1. So they didn't start off as hot this year, but they were just all year just looking kind of off. And then they really tailed off at the end. And they had a similar schedule where you had like, I remember like they lost a game like at home against the Giants and just division right games like with Washington. I believe that getting a little healthier too, though, right?
Yeah.
Eden's coming back.
Well, Jim came back this
That's
week.
right. Yeah, that's right.
But he kind of left the game because he got his elbows like sore, kind of got a bad hit. So I don't think you're going to necessarily be able to rely on. It's probably going to be like Mariota, I would imagine, maybe the rest of the way. But we'll see if he kind of plays at all.
Yeah, I mean, with Washington completely out of it. I mean, they got the Eagles got the Raiders next, so we already know what's good there. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, with Washington being out of it, I'm sure they're going to really be cautious. So, but anyways, back to kind of Philly. So Philly is in a situation. So Dallas was a tough loss against the Lions, but if Dallas wins out, obviously it's a big if. Eagles lose 2 games, Dallas would win the division. So I think at Buffalo for Philadelphia, I mean, we'll see, but that can easily be an L. Raiders, I mean, obviously we know what's going to happen there. Even as bad as the Eagles have been playing, I don't think there's any chance they lose that game, especially coming off 3 in a row. But one of those Washington games, just never know with these division matchups, right? And so yeah, I mean, they have their schedule on their side. They just need to win 3 or 4. But yeah, I can see it kind of coming down to the wire for sure, probably until that last Sunday. But regardless, I don't know. I think Philly might be in some trouble heading into the playoffs if they make it.
Yeah, they're definitely not like last year's team, right? So I didn't realize the Cowboys, man, that was such a big game for the Cowboys to lose last week against the Lions because, man, they would have won that game. They would have put out so much more pressure on the Eagles, and they're hot coming into it. So, yeah, I don't trust the Eagles this year. I don't know. When you did the NFC, I don't think they're a top 3 team right now in the NFC. Like I'm going to put the Rams, and then you got probably put the Packers at number 2, and then I'll probably put Seattle at number 3. And to me, the sleeper team
Niners,
the 49ers.
Yeah,
they're getting healthy, and they're still 9-4. So I don't think they're that far away from being like a pretty solid playoff team and a contender for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think the Niners the last couple of weeks, I've obviously realized that they're good. They have a pretty good schedule, decent schedule too. But I've just kind of been like, you know what? They just had some really big injuries, but that young defense, I mean, they are just getting better and better every week. They're getting healthier on offense. I think they're going to be a problem offensive. Like on offense, they're going to score. So I don't think it's a team that anybody would really want to face. Obviously, Packers are, proven to be, one of the top teams. They won at Detroit, won home against Chicago. They obviously had some couple clunkers, but at the end of the day, I think all teams probably have. So Niners, yes, you said Seattle too. So, yeah, I mean, maybe if Detroit could sneak in, I think they're going to always be just a tough out with their physicality and their offense, right? That running game. So it's kind of going to turn out to be pretty good playoffs in the NFC, and I think Philadelphia might be left behind.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting there. Definitely home field will be a little different. It's not going to roll through Philadelphia, which is, I think, a tougher place to play. When you got to if the Rams have home field, that is a pretty easy slaying for them. And I just think it'd be much harder for a team to go to Philly and play in that weather, obviously. Right? Same thing with Green Bay and stuff like that. If you had to go through the whole NFC through Green Bay. So, yeah, I just don't think they're that team. I don't think they're running back this year.
Yeah, so they'll just kind of look at things. They'll probably be the third seed. So fourth seed is going to be that NFC. What would it be? South with
Yeah.
the Tampa or
Okay.
Carolina. So they'll be the
Oh, man.
four, and then so you see like a Philly playing just kind of, for example, like maybe against a Detroit or a Seattle. And so I think that'll be it's going to be tough, going into Philly, as you said, but I would see maybe that could be kind of an upset special, or maybe San Fran. Um, Either way you look at it, but yeah, it would be interesting to see because the Rams have two tough games coming up. They're home against Detroit, and then at Seattle on a Thursday.
Yeah.
I
That'll
know
be
Green
huge.
Bay has it. Green Bay has at Denver, which would be tough as well. But Denver's like just kind of bound to lose a game here. I feel they've just been winning these like just really close, like tight kind of games, which I get it. It's all about winning, so that's really that matters. But they just feel like they're kind of bound for a loss. So wouldn't be surprised maybe if Packers go in there and get a win. But yeah, I think if Rams get one of their last two, like Detroit or Seattle, then I see maybe they probably will get that one seed. But we'll
Yeah.
have to see.
Yeah. Be pretty interesting down the stretch. But before we get to the rest of the NFL, we got to go story time fantasy wise. Okay. So our league we've been playing in forever. My team has been garbage over the last like 6 weeks, but I still had a shot to be in the playoffs, and it was win or go home. The team I played, either one of us would go to the playoffs. I was up by 18 with no players on Monday night, and he had Jalen Hurts and Cameron Dicker, the kicker, right? Down by 18. Simple as that. So I'm like, pretty much Hurts would have his worst game, or just in general, like think about this.
Imagine if you're up 18 coming into it and you knew that Cameron Dicker got 17 points.
17. He got freaking 17 points.
Dicker the kicker.
Won damn game. And I was up by 0.6 when Jalen Hurts threw that interception, which is just freaking bananas, like to realize that I won the game. So I'm sure there's some fantasy matchups this week for you guys in the live, or if you guys are watching this, somebody lost from that interception from Jalen Hurts and somebody won because of that interception. That was the case where somebody won. So thank you, Jalen Hurts, for having your worst game ever. Appreciate it.
4 interceptions. Jeez. And then that fumble. Crazy.
Yeah. Crazy times. All right, so let's get into the rest of the NFL here. Particularly, I wanted to kind of go to the AFC.
Yeah, we kind of talked about the NFC.
Daniel Jones going down. Just, I mean, that to me was just gut wrenching because number one, he was already playing on a fractured fibula on the opposite side. So for him to be playing anyways and just out there getting it and giving his team his all, and then to go down with Achilles, knowing that you've had like one of your best years and you're going into a contract year, I just think that's just miserable, and that is just not the side of football that you want to see.
Yeah, I mean, Colts had a brilliant start to the season. Even before this injury, I kind of felt like something was telling me that they were just a little bit on the kind of fallen on a downward spiral, I guess, if you will, partly because of his injury. Not that you could have a couple bad weeks. It's going to happen to everyone. But I think the fact that the Colts were going for it, they traded 2 first-round picks to get Sauce Gardner. I think if it was any normal season, probably Daniel Jones doesn't play, or at least rest a little bit, right? If it's like where they didn't feel like they were maybe potentially contenders, but he plays. Probably obviously has an effect on the Achilles. Not only does it kind of ruin the Colts season this year, a big chunk of next year, contract year. Yeah, I mean, it's just every single thing that can go wrong has gone wrong for the Colts, even after the hot start. And so now you got the Texans and the Jaguars playing pretty decent football. Like things have it's amazing. Just in 2 or 3 weeks, we went from Colts like maybe getting the first seed in the bye to just potentially missing the playoffs. It's sad and amazing what an injury could do, especially to the quarterback position, and the fact that they were just not playing as nearly as good. Could be that they started playing some better teams and whatnot, but yeah, it's pretty insane.
Yeah, going from that and to potentially having 44-year-old Philip Rivers, grandpa, playing for your team. I mean, that would be, I don't even know how to describe that. But if Philip Rivers signs with the Colts and plays the rest of the season, I'm going to laugh my ass off.
Oh yeah, I just realized what I know. When you said that to us, I just, talk about desperate times calls for desperate measures. I mean, too bad they didn't like draft a young quarterback a couple years ago. If they would only have somebody like that. Oh wait,
Oh, and you got to remember, he got hurt with the rubber band TheraBand in pregame warmups. I mean, not to knock. I mean, I think he had a serious injury. He had an orbital fracture. I don't know exactly how it happened. But I mean, you would think they would be in good hands if they just had him going, or like at least go back to him. But I think he's gonna kind of be in the cards at this point.
yeah, damn. And you trade. That's why you just
Yeah, two
it's
first-round picks. I forgot about that.
yeah, it's a fine line. It's like F them picks, right? Because this is your chance. You probably were like, man, the AFC's wide open. Chiefs are not, in the kind of story of the playoffs this time around, which is pretty insane. Or not in the cards. And so you have like a big need and you try to go for it. And now it's all for naught, at least for this year, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see, but
Yeah, it's kind of wild. And yeah, speaking of the Chiefs, are they done? Like they're not making the playoffs, right?
I mean, every week I'm like, man, they're gonna probably win their last 5 games, and then I'm just kind of looking right now. So they are 6-7. Honestly, even 10-7 is just not a guarantee to get you in. Not even close to it. I think I saw. So Miami Dolphins, right? They're 6-7 now somehow. I saw if they win their last 4 and they're 10-7, they have like a 13% chance to get in. It's like,
Wow.
yeah. And of course, that has to do with like the tiebreaker. So Miami has lost to Baltimore, they've lost to the Colts. So they're factoring all that in. So Chiefs beat the Colts. So that's like somebody that they could tie and jump ahead of. And I think Chiefs, I think they beat the Ravens, if I'm not mistaken. So they're not all for dead, but
they
yeah.
definitely needed the Chargers to lose tonight, so that didn't happen. So
yeah, because you figure. Sorry, I'm gonna pull up the standings really quick here. In the playoffs, AFC, right? Yeah, I mean, you have the Texans at 8-5 at the 7 seed. Actually, Colts are not even in the playoffs right now. So
and you just lost. You lost to the Texans, right? So that's going to be the head right there.
Yeah. So even if you win now, you need the Texans to lose 3 games. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
Defense. It's the Bills. Obviously, the Bills collapsing, and plus you lost to them, right? Yeah, I don't really see it. And Jacksonville. Oh wait, Chiefs lost to Jacksonville, right?
They did.
Yeah. So even that, right? So the collapse, like any of these teams collapsing would be a surprise, and that would have to be the Chiefs winning out. At this point, you don't see it.
Yeah, like for example, Jacksonville's 3 games ahead of the Chiefs, so that means Jacksonville would have to lose their last 4 and Chiefs win their last 4. I mean, it's yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's gonna. Yeah, they needed like the Chargers to lose today exactly because then they play them. They play them next week, or I believe. So then you're like, okay, if they would have lost today, then we beat them, then we're a game back. But yeah, I think Chiefs. Just one of those years where the two Super Bowl teams are just struggling.
Yeah. And then you got, for the rest of the AFC, you got the 2 top teams, Denver and New England, who just keep winning. They're both on 10-game winning streaks.
Damn.
When's the last? Man, I wish I could just look this up. Or I could ask ChatGPT. But when's the last time two teams have had two 10-game winning streaks in the same conference? Like, I feel like that doesn't really happen that often. I know
Especially
there's
at the
good
same
teams, but I
time.
feel like, yeah, at the same time, it's kind of wild because that means both teams started 1-2, which is just I highly doubt that's happened before. 1-2 teams winning 10 in a row each is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Are they for real now, Eric?
Well, I think when you throw out like maybe Chiefs and Ravens like are not going to be in the playoffs, right? Bengals are not. When you start having those teams not make the playoffs, right? And you got your Jacksonvilles, your Houstons of the world, Chargers, then I got to say they have a shot to get to the AFC Championship game. But that's as far as I have them going. So,
I'll stop you in tracks right now. Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I am making a plea right now.
You know what I was getting into. Yep.
You will probably likely not have the Chiefs in, not have
Bengals.
the Ravens in there, not have the Bengals. So that's who? Mahomes, Lamar, and Joe Burrow. There is no excuse for you not to get to the Super Bowl. I know the team's not as good, but Josh Allen, I'm telling you right now, if the Bills don't make the Super Bowl, there'll be some loud whisperings about Josh Allen not being able to get to the big game.
And they're gonna have to go on the road. They're gonna have to win 3 road games, most likely. And just got to handle business. And sometimes there's those teams that win it or at least get to the Super Bowl, and that's what they do. So yeah, you got to think like, you go first round, you go play maybe a Jacksonville, right? First round. And then you're going to have probably a tough. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's disrespectful. But I'm saying, like, if John Allen goes into Jacksonville and loses the first round,
yeah, but Jacksonville, but then you're gonna have to go. You're most likely gonna have to do like a combo at Denver, at New England, and just beat them both. Most likely,
yeah, it's gonna be tough.
And
it's
then
gonna be tough, but I mean, at this point, it's a better scenario than having to play Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. So. At least you get 2 young quarterbacks, even though those teams are pretty elite right now.
Yeah, no, I think Buffalo's been kind of teetering, and they've had games that they just almost lost, but they've won. But maybe they'll kind of be a stronger team for that. It's not like coming easy. And so, yeah, if there was a year to get to that Super Bowl, we'll see what happens once you get there, of course. Boy, this has to be the year to get there. Buffalo faithful.
For sure. If any of you guys have any comments on YouTube or Twitter, let us know who you think the best in the NFL is right now and who your favorites coming out to actually get to the Super Bowl. All right, so now we got to switch topics and get into our bread and butter, the NBA, in particular, LeBron and the Lakers. That's right, Eric. I said LeBron and the Lakers. So, Lakers 2 out of 3 so far on the road there.
Yeah.
Or in the 3-game road trip, took 2 out of 3. And you knew they were going to lose that Boston game because LeBron was going to play, Luka was going to play. AR looks like he's exhausted right now at this point. LeBron comes back on Sunday and kind of looks like the old LeBron. Like, it's finally, we're talking about, him having his ramp up period, and almost like the first 6 games have been like his preseason.
Yep.
Eric, what do you think?
Yeah. Hey, look, like we've kind of come on and talked about like some of the games where he just maybe not as sharp or just doesn't have the lift. So we got to come on and talk about the games that he goes LeBron right on us. I think he scored the last 10 points of the game, if I'm not mistaken. Big win. Honestly, it was a game that I could see them losing. It's just Philly is like, obviously all healthy, meaning they're all playing. And B doesn't really look healthy, but And so, yeah, I think it's like kind of the perfect storm, right, with LeBron for this particular outing. So had a couple of days off, right? Um, played Thursday, then Sunday. Obviously, it's about 6 games in, as you mentioned. And so I think we're gonna see this. We're gonna see every 4 or 5 games, maybe when there's a couple of days off, LeBron able to do this. And the good news is though, for years when it was AD and LeBron, we needed this like every night, right? And now we don't. So that is a positive. But I think this showed that this is something that we can see. I don't want to say every once in a while because that sounds kind of like he can't do it, but I think he'll pick his spots, is what I'm trying to say. AR wasn't having that good of a game, maybe because he played all 3 games, right? 3 games in 4 nights. And so he picked up the slack, and that's all you can ask for. If one of the 2 guys don't play well, if LeBron could be there to pick it up, then so be it. What did you see out there?
Yeah, I felt like I saw a guy that got a little bit of rest,
Yep.
got his feet under him. His shot was finally falling because he had his legs, right? His legs looked a lot better, had open dunk, looked like he had a little better lift. So I think something that we're not going to see every game, like you're saying. It'll be more when we need it, he can be there. And then we're going to see a little bit more games where he's going to have to facilitate, and he'll know that. He'll know in that particular game he might not have the same lift. But when he's feeling good, where he's feeling springy, his body's feeling good, I think we're going to get some nights like this throughout the rest of the season. But in all reality, I think we're going to get a little, he's likely never going to play a back-to-back this season. But I think we're going to get more rest period out of LeBron this season than we've ever. Just because I think he's going to get to a point where if he goes 5 games and he looks like that, or his legs don't look like they're there, he's just going to need some time off. Reality is, the reports came out that he has some arthritis in that foot, which is not a surprise because that's basically degeneration, right? And something he's been dealing with for a while. So I think that you're just going to have to manage it the best way you can. So, he looked great, and it's good to see him hitting the silencer. He even hit that. He hasn't hit that on the Lakers in a long time. So fun to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could, from an offensive standpoint, he can be productive when he's hitting the 3 ball. So he hit 4 for 6. And so he's going to always be like a really good passer and things like that. But yeah, I don't think he all of a sudden is healed from Thursday to Sunday and everything is just all good now, right? I think it's that little bit of rest that he had. And so you're right. He's probably not going to play back-to-backs. He's probably going to, if healthy, play, 50 games this year, 50 to 55, something like that, maybe. And so that's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. As long as we've said many times, we'll see what kind of run we can get from him for a 2-month playoff, hopefully, stint. So we'll see. Obviously, huge game for LeBron and even Luka. I love how Luka is kind of like how LeBron was before, where he just does what he does, and we don't even kind of talk about him at all because it's like
30 something, and it's like amazing. You don't even, it's like a normal night for him, right?
Yeah, he came from across the country, right? And just he wasn't like super efficient, but he still put up some numbers.
Yeah, you have a baby, fly across country, still drop 30 some on the team. So I did want to get into a stat though that I thought is indicative of how LeBron's going to play this year. How many free throws do you think he shot the most in a game so far? If you had to say it off the top of your head.
4.
6. But that was
6, yeah. I threw a low number because I figured it was low.
Yeah. But every game, like last night, 1 for 2. Night before, game before,
0.
Did free throw, right? 3 for 4, 1 for 4, 5 for 6, 1 for 2, 1 for 4. Right. So he's not getting to the line because he's settling for jumpers, right? Is not going to be the same aggressive LeBron that we've always seen. So I think this will be the year where he was used to getting 8 to 10 free throws a game at least, I would imagine. If you
Yeah.
looked on his career, and being at the top of the league, how many free throws he gets, and you're just not going to see that this year. Maybe towards the end, if he gets a little bit more step, feels a little bit better, but I think you're going to get a lot more jump shots, a lot more facilitating, and not as many drives and creating contact as you normally would see. I thought that was
Yeah, and I think
interesting there.
yeah, and I think that's why his points percentage or points per game will be lower, because he's not going to have that like probably 6 or 7 points that he typically gets every season a night from the free throw line. So like Luka made 11, for example, Luka made 11 free throws, right? And so that's how he was able to get to that 31. If he would just have made 1 or 2 like LeBron, he's going to get 20, 21 points, right? So I think that's going to be another reason why his like points per game is going to be his I don't know, maybe other than his rookie season, kind of like career low, or maybe just in general. But
yeah, and I would imagine his field goal percentage would be down because of that, right? Because he's not going to make every shot. I mean, he was 17, which is amazing, but normally his field goal percentage is likely not too low because he gets to the free throw line a lot. So this year, what is he shooting on the season? Let's see. He is shooting 46%. So I'd imagine, look back on some of the years, that's probably one of the lower.
Yeah, because his career average is 50%. So 20
right.
is,
So
and in his rookie
51.
season, he averaged 20.9 points, which was his lowest. Let's see if he can. Let's see if he'll probably be below that, right?
Yeah,
21 basically.
20, but yeah, I don't know if he's going to get to 21 this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he normally shoots 50% as a career free throw shooter. So I think that would be a big, huge factor in his game and his ability to score there. But Luka had a freaking triple double, and we didn't even talk about it.
Oh yeah, he did, huh? Didn't you know? Crazy.
So, anyways, Lakers looking pretty good. They're moving, pretty well in the West. I mean, 17-6. I would take that all day. You're second place, right behind the most ridiculous team in the league, 23-1.
Still one loss. Every time we do the show, just one loss.
Oh my god, man!
So wait, what was? I think we already looked, but like Golden State that one year, they were like 29-1 or something, right?
Yeah, because they started off 24-0, right? Or they won 24 or 25.
Yeah, what was it? 06 was it? It was 2015, 16. Yeah. So they were at one point, the Warriors were 29-1. So yeah,
they got some winning to do. Jesus Christ. But all right, so let's get into a little preview of the first little NBA Cup game for the Lakers. So Lakers are playing San Antonio, and there's reports that Wemby is progressing and getting closer to a return. And you know what that means, Eric? Like
they're playing the
Lakers, because anytime somebody is about to return, they tend to play against the Lakers. So we'll see if the Spurs do that. I know they got Stephen Castle back tonight, so that was good for them. But what do you think of the matchup? Minus Wemby and Wemby there might be a little different.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough regardless. I mean, their Spurs are having a really good season, 16-7, so they're a game back from the Lakers. So they've just had injuries, and they've just been kind of similar to the Lakers, just playing well. They had a really good matchup a few weeks back when Spurs played at LA and Lakers won. Was a close game, won it down the stretch. And so I think it's going to be tough. We saw the Lakers struggle with like a Phoenix team, right? Kind of like a young, fast kind of team. And so I think Lakers could struggle against teams like that. So in terms of the quarters, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but it is a regular season game. It counts in the standings. So that's part of it too. And so if they win, then they will play the winner of Phoenix and OKC on Saturday in Las Vegas. So imagine Lakers and OKC.
So that's right. So the winner of this goes and plays Saturday. Yeah, because I was looking at, played a fantasy basketball season after like 15 years. I'm like, wait, there's no game. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's right. This is the break. And so if they lose, then they don't have them for like a week essentially. I mean, if they lose on Wednesday, they wouldn't have a game for almost.
They'll play the loser of the Spurs. They'll play the two losers will play each other. I forget which night.
Oh,
So
okay. So they put it in they just schedule it afterwards. Got it.
yeah, yep. So that will like make up for like the one game that they would. Yeah, exactly. Because they'll need one more game. Because if it's the semis, they play, and then the championship game doesn't count towards. It's an 83rd game for whoever plays it. So
that'll be on Monday then, right?
But I don't know. Do you think the NBA Cup will ever? I mean, obviously we're talking about it because it's the Lakers. Do you think it's just one of those things that just got to write it out? Or do you think they got to soon maybe put something on it, like other than money? Like it's going to, I have an idea, but maybe.
I thought about last year whether or not you can give them a playoff seed, right? So the only question with that is if it's team one and then all of a sudden they completely tank the rest of, or they weren't good, that'd be kind of a weird type of thing. Or you do the NBA Cup a little bit later into the season. So you're like maybe halfway into the season and then you can maybe put something on that, right? What I think which would be kind of cool. I don't know how that would work. What were your kind of thoughts on it?
Yeah, I thought about that. Like, yeah, maybe if it was later in the year or just more games, maybe more than like the 4, right? Kind of have like a longer season tournament, maybe have the championship, like, during All-Star break or I don't know, something, right? But I was even thinking like, why not? Like if you win it, you just own like every tiebreaker. So, like if you win the NBA Cup and you have like a tie in the standings, when it's all said and done, you just, when two teams are tied, the first thing is like, are any of them NBA Cup winners? If yes, that team gets ahead. If not, then they move to the next.
And I'd break up the whole 3-way tie and all that stuff and be like, that team's the NBA Cup winner. I like that one. That's probably a little more fair than just giving somebody a playoff seed, especially if their record falls below, like gets to the 10th seed or something like that.
Yeah. So maybe that, or if you want to do the two teams that make the championship, they both get like a tie within the respective conferences or just the winner. That's like one thing
I like the winner because you played that 83rd game, right? So
right.
You played that extra game, so that incentive of if you were to tie or have some sort of home court
you have the extra
advantage,
win.
You should have that extra win. Yeah, I like that a lot. Let's call Adam Silver right now.
I know. We know him well. He's a fan of the show, right, Adam? I know he's listening out there. So yeah, I don't know. It just I think eventually they're gonna have to spice it up, and maybe just through year after year doing this, it'll just evolve, and maybe they'll start playing more than 4 games before the quarters. But I know they're trying to be innovative and do something different than it was been done in the past. But I just feel like eventually they're gonna have to stack some more chips and kind of ante up the reason to play and a reason to play that 83rd game and win it. Obviously a team like OKC, they're probably not going to be worrying about ties. But you saw, remember the West last year, there was just like a log jam from seeds 2 to 7. Right. And so imagine having that kind of card of like, hey, no matter what, if we tie, we're going to have the better seed. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think it's more important in seeding the way it is now, where they have only 6 seeds make it for sure, and they got 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you had the tie between the 5 and 6 and 7, 6, 7, and then you would go essentially give them the lead with that. So I like that a lot. I think that one's probably the best one I've heard. So there you go.
Yeah, right? Probably one of the most fairest ones. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. I mean, if you guys have any other ideas, maybe put it on the chat or on the comments on the YouTube page. But yeah, I think, like I said, ultimately, money is money, and I think everybody loves money, even these players that are making millions. You got to think about those players that aren't making millions, right? That are the 10th, 11th, 12th man on the roster, 500K or 600K or whatever it is a good chunk. So, I mean, there is reason, but ultimately, we'll see if the NBA does something. Just tweak it up.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So before we get out of here, any last little comments for the NBA, NFL?
Ooh, well, actually, other than I think the East has their semis tomorrow, I mean, quarterfinals tomorrow. Then the West has theirs on Wednesday, and then yeah, I think it'd be cool to see OKC and Lakers in Vegas. I'm sure the NBA probably really wants that for their NBA Cup, but got a lot of football this week, some big games, but one of the better times of the year.
Yeah, I know the NBA definitely wants that matchup on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if it happens, but looking forward to see if the Lakers can get there.
Yes, sir.
All right. So for the Hoops Rehab team, we are out. We will see you guys soon. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.